Jordan Boyd wrote a piece for the Federalist titled Top 30 Reasons Kamala Harris Would Be a Terrible President. It's a pretty good piece, and I'm going to spend time going down the list because the mainstream media isn't going to do that for you. So hold on to your seats because we're about to uncover some shocking truths that could shake up the White House. Ever wondered why Kamala Harris might just be the worst choice for president? Well, we've got here 30 reasons that will make you question everything, from covering up Biden's cognitive decline to her controversial stances on key issues. We're exposing it all. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're breaking down why Kamala Harris would be a disaster as president. Let's get right into it. Reason number one, Harris covered up Biden's cognitive decline. That's right. She had a front row seat to President Joe Biden's mental and physical deterioration, but she never said a word. In fact, she routinely issued statements indicating that Biden was fit enough to stay president. Now, how's that for transparency? Moving on to reason number two, she's sympathetic to pro-Hamas demonstrators. Harris believes the pro-terrorist activists taking over college campuses, occupying highways, and defacing military cemeteries are merely showing exactly what the human emotion should be. Can you believe that? Reason number three, she refuses to oppose abortion until birth. Harris famously refused to say which abortion limits she supports in the September 2023 sit-down with CBS's Margaret Brennan. That's a pretty clear stance, don't you think? And I think it's as radical as it gets. Reason number four, she shirked her duties as border czar. Biden named Harris as the border czar in 2021, but she took months to visit ground zero of the record-breaking invasion her administration incentivized. And in fact, she didn't actually go to the border when she first got down there. She was 50 miles away from where any activity was. The Border Patrol chiefs responsible for securing the border confirmed that Harris never spoke with them. Number five, she also put other countries' borders before her own. Harris traveled thousands of miles away from the U.S. border invasion she was tasked with handling to deliver peace and security to the borders of Ukraine, which is a country. Reason number six, she knowingly spread the Border Patrol whipping lie. Harris claims she saw horrible footage of Border Patrol agents whipping illegal border crossers, but a U.S. Customs and Border Protection investigation found no evidence that the horseback unit used their reins to strike migrants. She lied. Number seven, she's wildly unpopular. One of Harris's most notable accomplishments is receiving the worst vice presidential rating in the history of modern polling. She polls lower than Biden. Her abysmal job approval ratings have only continued, often ranking worse than Biden, and do not suggest that she's up to the task for taking over the presidency. Reason number eight, and disliked by her staff. A whopping 92% of Harris's staff left in her first 3 years as vice president. Now, that's a red flag, folks. Reason number nine, she's out of touch. While arguing against voter ID laws, Harris claimed that it's almost impossible for rural Americans to make a photocopy. Are you kidding me? Reason number 10, she's a bad speaker. Harris has tried to come off as inspirational, but her speeches and public addresses are often riddled with jumbled, off-script chattering or unintelligible babble that rivals Biden's incoherence. Remember, Trump said she speaks in rhyme. The bus goes here and the bus goes there because that's what buses do. Number 11, she praised the persecution of life-saving pregnancy centers. Harris used the presidential podium to cheer on Democrats for taking on rightly the crisis pregnancy centers. She has no soul. Number 12, she supported bailing out 2020 rioters during the St. George Floyd riots. Accused rapists, repeat offenders, and rioters alike benefited in June 2020 when Harris encouraged her social media followers to donate to a bail fund dedicated to those arrested for their months-long $2 billion sieges of cities like Minneapolis. The vice president then later lied about her involvement in the money-raising scheme. She said that she only supported peaceful protesters who were arrested. I got news for you, Kamala. Peaceful protesters don't generally get arrested. Rioters do. All right, number 13. She dodges questions about defunding the police. During the peak of Black Lives Matter calls to defund the police in 2020, Harris refused to say whether she supported defunding law enforcement. Instead, she championed meeting the dire need for mental health resources. Ugh. Number 14, she may have plagiarized her go-to childhood story. Harris loves to tell this story about how she was asking for freedom from her stroller at a civil rights march. That supposed childhood memory, however, suspiciously resembles one Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., who told Playboy the exact same story in 1965. Reason number 15, she supports race-based wealth redistribution, your tax dollar. During her short-lived presidential campaign in 2020, Harris debuted plans for a $100 billion home ownership subsidy for black families she claims should be repaid for generations of discrimination. Can you imagine the wars that would start among people in this country? She would take us back to the days of Barack Obama stirring up trouble between race. Number 16, she's a gun grabber. Harris threatened during the 2020 Democratic primary debate to take executive action on guns if Congress did not meet her demands by passing the most comprehensive background check policy we've had. After taking office, Harris claimed no one is trying to come after your guns, as the Biden administration and Democrats prepared to do just that. She's a gun grabber. Reason number 17, she wants to raise your taxes. During the 2020 vice presidential debate, Harris proudly promised the Biden-Harris White House would repeal a bill that prevented a $4 trillion increase in taxes. $4 trillion. Number 18, she wants to ban fracking. There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking, she said during the 2019 CNN town hall. Number 19, she voted against protections for born-alive babies. Can you believe it? Harris failed infants in 2019 when she voted alongside other Democrats against legislation that would compel doctors to give babies born alive after botched abortions the same level of care that humans receive. Number 20, she wants to strip Americans of their health insurance. During a CNN town hall forum in 2019, Harris said she wanted to eliminate all private insurance, which would strip millions of Americans of their health coverage. She's a radical to the core. 21. Yet she wants taxpayer-funded health care for illegal border crossers. Can you believe this? She said, I am opposed to any policy that would deny in our country any human being from access to public safety, public education, and public health, period. Harris told CNN's Jake Tapper that in 2019. Do you think she got any better since? No. Number 22. She proudly enabled the Jussie Smollett race hoax. Harris called the staged hate crime an attempted modern-day lynching. She did not apologize even after Smollett was found guilty of felony disorderly conduct and making false police reports. Number 23, she socializes with notorious anti-Semites. Harris claimed Reverend Al Sharpton, who has a history of inciting race riots and anti-Jewish pogroms, has spent his life fighting for what's right and working to improve our nation. Yeah, right. She also spoke at a summit with ties to the former Women's March chair, Tamika Mallory, who stepped down after praising Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan. Number 24, she demanded Twitter deplatform Donald Trump. In 2019, Harris called on then Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey to suspend Donald Trump's account because she deemed his tweets incendiary. So she wants to censor free speech like the rest of them on the left. Number 25, she sponsored legislation that would codify abortion through all 9 months. As a senator, Harris was a proud co-sponsor of the original version of the Women's Health Protection Act, which sought to codify abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy. She is a radical. 26. She compared border security to the KKK. I kid you not. As a senator, Harris asked the acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement if he saw any parallels between the KKK and his agency. What a nut. Number 27, she's into AOC's socialism. When pressed about Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's proposed 70% tax hike in 2019, Harris called the freshman legislator fantastic and praised her for challenging the status quo. 70% is challenging the status quo. Number 28, she's openly anti-Catholic. As a senator in 2018, Harris smeared Brian Buescher, a nominee for the U.S. District Court in Nebraska, for his affiliation with the famous Catholic fraternal organization Knights of Columbus and its historically pro-life views. Number 29, she aided the character assassination of Brett Kavanaugh. Harris not only publicly declared her belief in Christine Blasey Ford's evidenceless allegations against Justice Brett Kavanaugh, but used her position as a senator to interrupt and smear the Trump nominee numerous times during his 2018 confirmation hearings. Even after Kavanaugh officially joined the high court, Harris claimed his confirmation was a denial of justice for the women of this country. Unreal. And finally, number 30, she prosecuted journalists for doing their job. As California Attorney General, Harris prosecuted journalists David Daleiden and Sandra Merritt for exposing Planned Parenthood for trafficking the body parts of aborted babies. Remember all of that? Part of her prosecution involved a raid on Daleiden's house where investigators allegedly seized footage further implicating the abortion giant and handed it over to Harris's abortion campaign donors. All right, so there you have it. Thanks again to the Federalist and Jordan Boyd for the list. I mean, after reading a list like that, she is a train wreck. She could possibly be worse than Biden because she's far more radical than he or his handlers. I think she was recognized as the most radical leftist member of the Senate when she was there. Now compare her beliefs to that of Donald Trump and the way that he governed for America when he was president. The divide could not be wider. All right. Thank you for watching. Hit that notification bell if you want to be kept up to date with Kamala's rise before her ultimate fall. See you in the next one.
Got a two-tongue weight from my hairline to my backbone, and it's dragging me around, but I don't listen. All your critics